Hello everybody, and welcome to Tembe Elephant Park here in South Africa. And we actually have a pretty epic sighting. It looks like we could have two rhinos right hand side by that tree having a quick drink of water. My name is Kerry Dupree, everybody, and I will be your naturalist host today. I'm live at the waterhole here. And I'm looking forward to having a look, see what we can find today. This is pretty epic to see some rhinos and Tembe. Whoop, a bit nervous. What's going on? Two rhinos having a drink of water. This one looks rather nervous. Whoop, and off he goes. Isn't that epic? Wow! Looks rather aggressive, I must say. Oh, something frightened him. There's an elephant in the background there. Could have given him a bit of a fright. So just a reminder, folks, that this is a live and interactive show. So please remember to send through your questions and your comments. Or if you'd like to join in the conversation, please head over to Twitter or X and use the hashtag @WildEarth. You can also join in on YouTube. Sorry, folks, we're having some camera issues here. We just had to change cameras quickly. No, sorry, yesterday at Old Daniel we also had some minor technical difficulties on the cameras. So operating these cameras remotely can be a slight challenge. So welcome back. We are now in Etosha and Ukukuyu. This big elephant bull. Let's see what he's going to do to the other three bulls there. Well, is he chasing them away from the watering hole? Not enough space for all of them, I guess. He's enjoying the view here. So yes, it is a lovely winter's day in Etosha here. You can see not a single cloud in the sky, but it is really awesome to have these elephant bulls here. We also had a lovely elephant pool party yesterday here in Etosha. It was pretty amazing to see all the elephants swimming around. There was even a springbok that was rather hot that also decided to pop into the water for a bit of a swim, who was very shortly after chased out by the elephant. And then, of course, a little baby elephant almost took out this poor springbok that was just trying to pass by, and this little baby elephant decided to chase him off. So yeah, we probably had about 50 to 60 elephants here yesterday, if you were with us on the show. So I can't see clearly what we have in the background there, but I know yesterday we did have some kudu here. To me, it looked like it could be some oryx or a gemsbok. And there's actually a gemsbok in the pan. Check him coming out there. You can see a gemsbok inside the pan. So we're going to try and zoom in on this oryx. It's been cooling himself off in the pan there. It must be a hot day in Etosha. There we go. Have a look at that. Oh, yeah, we can see the oryx there. Some springbok and some oryx are standing in the background there. Obviously, a very warm day. To me, it's quite interesting to see all these antelope sitting inside the pan, cooling off after a very hot day. Probably walked many a miles to get to this watering hole to have a nice bit of a drink. Springbok are coming and going. Looks like some waterfowl down there. Could be, I've seen Egyptian geese here at Ukukuyu. Could also be maybe a red-billed teal. They do have shield or shelled ducks in Etosha as well. Those are pretty awesome to see with the white faces. Well, seeing as this elephant is only showing us his better side, not giving us much of a show, why don't we head over to Oldonyo in Kenya and see what antelope species is waiting for us there. Whoop. So we have, looks like 3 eland bulls, and on the right-hand side of our screen, looks like we have a giraffe as well. Just poking his head into the screen. I don't know if you can see him there on the right. Oh, there we go. The female giraffe also coming down for a drink. And our secretary bird. Have a look between the 3 eland. There is our secretary bird. Also probably from yesterday. So we had 2 secretary birds yesterday. We were lucky to see, and looks like he's already had a drink and taken off. We also had a really cool sighting yesterday of a few eland females as well. I think we saw these bulls yesterday. Another giraffe in the background, also coming for a bit of a drink. The weather in Oldonyo has been looking rather lovely the last 3 days or so, I must say. I've been a bit jealous. I would love to be in Kenya right now. Look, it's been lovely and cloudy and overcast, not too hot. Etosha still looks, in Namibia, still looks rather hot and warm. But in Kenya, the weather looks like it has been really lovely. Greetings, Mercedes Beanie. Thank you again for joining us today. So you also watch the show quite a lot. You must be quite a big fan of the show. Thank you for joining us again today. And yeah, looking forward to seeing what we find. Oh, there's another big elephant bull just came in. It's going to chase everyone away, of course. Catherine, thank you for joining us again, Catherine. Always good to have you with us. All of our viewers, great to have you with us today on the Africans with Wild Earth. See what excitement we can have today. So, elephant bulls have been around. We're getting a lot of really epic sightings of elephant bulls, as well as our pool party yesterday in Etosha. Almost all of our locations we were on yesterday, we had elephants. Listen to the sound of the elephants sucking up the water and kind of squirting it into their mouths. They must be very thirsty, probably gone quite a few hours without water. I don't know about the rest of you, but I can definitely sit in hides all day. And I know patience is definitely a virtue, and unfortunately, that's something not a lot of people have. And I struggle with patience myself too. But when it comes to sitting at hides, I can spend the whole day. And I must say, I have had some really amazing sightings while sitting at a hide for hours and hours on end, thinking you're not going to see anything, and all of a sudden, something pops up right in front of you and it makes it totally worth it. So I'd love to know what our viewers' most memorable hide sightings are. What is your most memorable sighting that you've ever had while sitting to hide. I think some of my favorite we'll just have a bit of a moment to just enjoy these male elephants here. See maybe if we can hear any rumbling sounds, rumbling and grumbling. So we're just enjoying listening to the sounds of these elephants having a drink. Almost hear the swishing of their tails. They listen out for the swishing of their tails. Elephants are so silent when they move. Sometimes all you can hear is their feet rubbing up against the side of their legs, ear flapping, a gurgle or a grumble from inside their mouth. Also their ears kind of touching the sides of their body. If you're on a walking safari and you hear any of these above sounds, you know you're definitely way too close to an elephant. You definitely should proceed with caution, because he could be almost on top of you. Or for me, another one, definite giveaway, which has got me out of a few very hairy situations with forest elephants, is when you can hear the elephant crunching on something in its mouth. That's when you know, oh dear, I think I've got myself into a little bit of a pickle. Such giant beasts, but yet they can be so close to you without you even noticing. Those giant feet of theirs splay so well over the ground. They're filled with tiny little nerves that pick up all the vibrations from the ground. Very well splayed on the ground when they're walking, so even if they step on a stick or a branch, you can hardly hear them. Yeah. Savannah elephants are a bit different to deal with. I must say, I'm a lot more at ease if I'm close to a savannah elephant, whereas forest elephants, definitely, if I was a cat, I think I would have lost a few lives to forest elephants, I must say. They are another kind of species of creature to deal with in the forest. So if you're just joining us, we are here in Kenya, in Eldonyo, and it looks like a lovely day. It's been nice and cloudy and overcast here in Eldonyo the last couple of days. This plan has been quite busy recently, lots of elephant activity, some secretary birds in and out. Always seems to be some warthogs bouncing about. It's been really nice seeing some very healthy looking eland, zebra, and of course giraffe. So I've sent a question out asking if you can share with me your favorite hide experience. Catherine, thank you very much for sending through your experience. I'm surprised that there's actually hides in Germany. That's pretty awesome, and I'm glad you had some good sighting of some fox and some wild boar, deer, and of course lots of birds. I'm sure that kept you busy and taking photos. One of my favorite hide experiences, of course, will have to be in southern Africa. There's a few underground hides, so it's literally a container that has been buried on half underground with a little slit in the front. There's one in Botswana, in Moremi, and one in Zimbabwe in Wangi National Park, where you can go and sit and you can literally be surrounded by 50 to 100 elephants all at once. I think I've been stuck in one of those hides once for 6 hours, and I lost track of all the elephants, and they come so close because they're obviously not really aware of your presence being there, and you're very safe in those hides with a private guide and also with one of the guides with rifles. So yeah, pretty safe in there. So it's definitely one of my favorite hide experiences in southern Africa with all the elephants. And in Congo, I must say I definitely loved my African grey parrots and African green pigeons all flocking down in flocks of hundreds of thousands, which again takes a lot of time, a lot of patience. But I've also had some pretty amazing red river hog sightings from a hide as well. But of course, some of these sightings all of these hide sits definitely take a lot of patience, I must say. So while we're on the subject of hides and locations and travel, I just want to remind you of the option of joining us on Wild Earth on an adventure. If you're looking to do any of our trips, please feel free to go over to our website, info@wildearth.travel, or visit our website, wildearth.travel, in order to see what exciting adventures we have waiting for you. We have a few new exciting trips in September 2025. I've been chatting to James Henry recently about going to see his mountain gorillas in Rwanda. So if you'd like to join him and come face to face with one of Africa's largest primates, that with the one and only James Henry, that will be definitely an adventure of a lifetime, as well as some of our adventures in the Masai Mara. And there are 6 other destinations that you can pick from. So please, if you are looking to go and explore Africa, you're welcome to have a look and see what adventures we have waiting for you. Have a look at this elephant. So there's this elephant on the far right. It seems like he's having a very lazy trunk day, balancing his trunk on his tusk. Rather large. Not surprised. Imagine carrying your nose around with you all day. That's that big and long. It looks like we might have had a giraffe pitch up at Founders. Let's go over and see what's happening with our giraffe. Welcome to the Mantis Founders Lodge in South Africa. We have a beautiful male giraffe here. He's maybe come for a drink, but decided that maybe he's seen a friend or two in the distance. That's something rather strange. Nice big male giraffe. Coloration is very dark, his skin there. His rosettes. Bald ossicles. Ossicones. Always a rather fascinating sight watching giraffe drink. What are you looking at, boy? I'm curious about something. Look at that impressive specimen of a giraffe. He is definitely in his prime, this male giraffe. Definitely make a few female giraffe blush here and there. Would be quite a good specimen to spread his genes. I think if he approached some females, they would definitely be interested in having this beautiful male giraffe as a father to their unborn offspring. In the animal world, it's all about genetics and genes, biggest and strongest. Oh, we've got some zebras come to say hello. So, Catherine, thank you for sending to your comment about seeing the African greys in Congo. Yes, I must say, it was one of the big highlights of my time there. The African green pigeons come in huge flocks of hundreds of thousands. It actually sometimes sounds like thunder or lightning in the sky, whereas the African green pigeons are in smaller numbers but still very impressive. I think normally about 50 to 60, 70. Once or twice seen a big flock of about 100 African greys all melodiously singing and having the best time, happy as can be in their natural environment. So African greys are very intelligent actually, and they can mimic up to 30, 40 different calls. So they've got a variety of sounds they can mimic. I've heard an African grey mimicking, in the wild, that is. I've heard an African grey mimicking a cat, a car alarm, and a bell. Very strange. Um, very diverse. Same as the crow. Crows are also very intelligent birds. They use them to solve problems, and they can give them all these very interesting puzzles and equations to solve. And crows manage to be very intelligent. We saw pied crow yesterday and Cape crow in Etosha, Kikuyu, quite common around camps. Look at this boy. He's pretty impressive, I must say. He is giving us his best side. Monica, I definitely agree with you on that one. It is nice seeing at the different destinations how calm and relaxed the wildlife has become. In areas where there might have been hunting or some sort of disturbance, you can definitely see that animals are a lot more tense and don't always hang around as long, very nervous and edgy. So it is always a huge privilege to see wildlife calm and relaxed at some of these locations. This giraffe doesn't quite know what he wants to do. Should I have a drink over here? Should I have a drink over there? Okay, I think I'll have a drink over here. He finally decided to have a drink. He was rather indecisive, I must say. Although I can't give him a hard time because I know that I have my indecisive days as well. Sure, we all do. And we just can't decide. Should I go to this bar? Should I go to that bar? Should I go to this restaurant? Should I go to that restaurant? When you arrive there, what do you want to eat? Oh, well, something between his legs that just got disturbed. Is that an oxpecker or? So he's got a little bit of red mud. So you see, if you've seen warthogs pitching up at this waterhole, they can often be very red in color. So I find it quite fascinating how different areas might have different colorations to their skin depending on the type of mud in the area. Something between his legs there. I'm struggling to see. Is it a bird? I wonder if he fallen. Noticed when he got out of the mud, might have stepped on something. What is that? Oh, no, it's okay. It's actually a zebra coming from behind him there. Must have been standing at a weird angle and kind of looked like a bird of some sort. Ah, it's a lovely winter's day today, I must say. Johannesburg weather or winter in South Africa this year hasn't been as cold as I was expecting or as cold as it was last year. But that wind is definitely around. I know that there were some rains in Cape Town a few weeks ago. Definitely cooled down the weather a bit. Had some snow on the Drakensberg also a few weeks ago that brought in a nice chilly wind, but it is lovely weather at the moment. Look at that sunshine coming out. Oh, don't fall, boy. So nice to finally see this giraffe drinking. Sometimes giraffe won't always drink immediately if they're a bit unsure or feel, oh, don't fall in the mud. They're a bit unsure or a bit nervous because obviously when a giraffe goes down to drink, he does definitely put himself into a rather compromising position. So he needs to feel confident that he's not going to be attacked by anything. Now I believe we have possibly a crocodile over at Olifantsrivier. So maybe in a few moments we'll head over there into the Kruger and see, maybe it's our same little crocodile from yesterday. Welcome to Olifantsrivier, everyone. This is in the northwestern part of Kruger National Park, and looks like we have a little crocodile in the river. There's been a crocodile youngster we've been watching the last few days. This crocodile looks like it could be a little bit bigger. He's enjoying the sunshine, enjoying being very relaxed. It is a Friday today, so he's taking his Friday nice and easy. Fantastic Friday. What is our Friday going to bring us next? So just a bit of an update from all of our locations from yesterday and today, folks. Seeing as it's a lazy Friday, seems like everyone's been getting into the winter feel of things. I know this morning Eric looked rather bundled up and warm while they were on the sunrise safari in Amakhala. Got some nice eland sightings and a cool troop of baboons at Mabula with Amy and Cam. I know they had a really cool lion sighting with this big male lion also enjoying his winter weather, having a nice nap. Oh, he looked like he was really having the best time, just rolling over and napping and rubbing his eyes. He looked rather tired, that lion. And then, of course, in Juma, we welcomed Maxine back to the safaris, to the live drives, and they also had a pretty awesome sighting of two honey badgers that were digging around and looked like they were getting up to no good. Seemed like they were either on the dam cam or also seen on the Mawati as well. Pretty awesome to see two honey badgers fighting. So this crocodile definitely looks a lot bigger than our baby crocodile that we have been seeing the last 2 days. So this crocodile, I would put him at definitely a few years old, maybe 3 or 4 years of age. Our other little crocodile, you could hardly see it with the naked eye when we were scanning the river here. Just having a quick pan and scan to see if there's anything else lurking about. Thank you very much for your sighting that you sent through a Booty Moo Rocks. Apologies for that. Sounds like a pretty epic sighting you had there, watching some elephants, and all of a sudden your binoculars start to blur. And surprise, surprise, when a little variegated bush snake comes in front of your view. That must have given you a bit of a fright. Oh, wow. I know a lot of people that would have probably lost their marbles. And when you're in a hide, you always have to kind of be sitting very quietly, not to frighten any animals. Also, if you want to attract animals, you can't really be making noise. And if a snake all of a sudden pops up, I don't know, it'll be quite difficult for people to contain themselves, I think. But thank you very much for sending through that sighting of yours. So thank you. Also, you sent your question from Spas Inkov. Yeah, lovebirds. Lovebirds are really beautiful. I have not seen the timid parrots and the lovebirds I have seen. Which lovebirds have I seen? I know let's just have a look quickly. I know in the Zambezi Valley, we do get the is it the rosy-faced lovebirds or the Lithians lovebirds? No, Lithians is more south. Apparently, oh yes, I just heard a story recently. So black-cheeked lovebirds, I actually heard in Victoria Falls. They used to occur within that region, but no longer seen too much. Got our bushbuck family from yesterday. There was this 2 females and an impala. This seems to be quite a busy spot, I must say. We were suspecting yesterday that there might be a jackalberry tree or something, some fruiting tree that's not too far away or just over this area, and that's what's casting the shade here. And also probably dropping fruit for all the bushbuck to come around and feed, because this area has had a lot of bushbuck activity. So yeah, black-cheeked lovebirds. My dad has actually seen black-cheeked lovebirds in Vic Falls, which is slightly out of range because they mostly occur in Zambia. But it was actually quite an interesting story. Of course, he saw these lovebirds, had no idea where they came from, totally out of range, not seen within the area within many, many decades. And yeah, he found out they were actually lovebirds that had been caught in Zambia and were in aviaries and had been released in the Vic Falls area maybe some 30 years ago. So amazing to see they're still flying around. But yeah, otherwise you'd find the black-cheeked lovebirds in Zambia. Yeah, the Lithians lovebirds also on the Zambezi Valley, possibly along the Zambezi River. So I believe we have a huge herd of elephants that have just arrived at Okukuyu, which is right on time. So why don't we go and have a look at Okukuyu and see what's happening there? Oh my goodness. We were just here at Okukuyu not too long ago, maybe 15, 20 minutes ago, and there was only 3 or 4 elephant bulls. Now, wow, it's like exploded with elephants. And just as we had yesterday, I guess it's pool party time in Namibia. Look how many elephants there are here. I'm going to go ahead and try and have a bit of a count. If anyone would like to help me, feel free. Yesterday I had a rough estimated count of about 45, definitely plus 45, because there's a lot more that I could not see. So I'm going to try and have a bit of a count here, and let's see if anyone can also help me get an idea of how many elephants we have here. Oh my goodness, this is almost impossible because we've got elephants swimming, elephants playing, elephants everywhere, babies, sub-adults. Oh my goodness, this is a lot of elephants. It's definitely more than yesterday, I'm going to guess. Probably 60, 65 plus elephants. Wow, look at them having the best time. So have a nice little moment of silence while we listen to the sounds of these elephants sloshing about in the water, splashing each other, and keep a lookout for those little babies that are probably going to be playing around. so much going on here. You almost don't know where to look. How amazing is this? We have elephants here, there, and everywhere. Every time I try to start counting again, I lose track. We've got lots of comments coming in here, so thank you for your comments. Yes, this is an amazing sighting at Ukukuyo over in Etosha, Namibia, with all these elephants coming for a midday swim. Around about the same time yesterday, we also had a really special elephant party, same location here in Etosha. There was not nearly as many elephants as there are today. Lots of interactions, lots happening. I love the babies swimming, the adults playing, splashing, just letting out their inner child and having the absolute most best time. So it must be rather warm in Namibia at the moment if these elephants are swimming like this midday. Sinjev Roy says he thinks there might be about 3 herds there. So as you can see the family groups leaving, that's when you can kind of get leaving or arriving, you can kind of get a bit of a better understanding of the different family groups, solitary males on their own, which ones are left behind. So during there's 2 bulls fighting over there, 2 youngsters, and a bit of a scrap. During the rainy season, when food and water is abundant, you will find breeding herds will generally segregate and go their own way. Whereas in a lot of regions in Africa, it's kind of interesting how during the dry seasons, all these herds, micro herds, will then join up together and move together as units between watering holes and food sources. Oh, these youngsters. Yeah. Taken up a little bit more than he can chew, challenging a male bull that's bigger than him. But yeah, in Zimbabwe, one of the largest elephant breeding herds to be seen is the presidential herd in Wangi National Park, which has been recorded to have had up to 300 individuals within this herd. But again, in the rainy season, that huge herd will then fragment and have smaller breeding herds. Only during the dry season, in times of strife and drought, and when things are really hard, then they'll all join up together in bigger numbers for safety for the young ones. Yep. Yeah. A lot of attitude, a lot of small elephants with very big attitudes here, just throwing their head above. Of course, it's a very exciting time for these elephants when they all come together like this, but it can be quite stressful for females with little babies. So Tia from Holland is asking why the elephants are screaming. Again, like we said, this is the dry season, so it can be a very stressful time for a lot of animal species. And when they come down to watering holes like this, of course, there's a lot of interactions going along, a lot of dominance displays between males. Females might be defending their little ones. It can also be a sign of agitation, displacement disorders, or like displacement issues between elephants. Well, it's a lot of interactions happening, and remember, a lot of what elephants however communicate, we actually can't hear ourselves humans. So the only sounds of elephants that we're actually hearing ourselves are the final warning sounds or signals. So it's kind of like you imagine your child is being mischievous and you've already said, if you don't stop doing that now, I'm going to count to 3. So we don't hear the 1, 2, we only hear the 3, which is by then they're rather upset and now they're screaming at each other kind of thing. So yeah, the bulls can be quite naughty amongst each other and trumpet and shout at each other. Little babies can also be very confident when they know they have their mother's protection. So born in Africa, living in New Zealand, definitely this is a great herd of elephants. It's a lovely day, Friday afternoon. There's an amazing sighting of these elephants all here at Ukukuyu. There's a big male that's just come in on the left-hand side there. So we were also comparing yesterday the tusk sizes of the elephants here in Namibia compared to in Kenya over or at Oldonyo. So when we do jump between locations, just keep a lookout for that difference of the size and length of their tusks, even compared to the elephants in Juma. The elephants here in Etosha, due to mineral deficiencies, have much smaller, shorter tusks than elephants in different areas that might have mineral-rich soils. Yeah, so that is quite interesting. So Gwen is our director today, and she did mention, yeah, there are definitely a lot of tuskless individuals here. Yesterday we had 4 or 5 bulls that all had tusks, but they were all chipped and broken and short and just not in the best condition. Obviously, there's a lot of salt in the soils here in Namibia, obviously with all the salt pans, so salt is not a problem, but there are definitely a lot of other minerals that these elephants are obviously lacking, which causes this deficiency and inability for them to have the long tusks that we know so well of, the elephants in Kenya, for example, and Southern Africa, Zambia, Zimbabwe. Wow, look at this little one here by himself. So again, in the elephants, dry season, drought, a lot of animals are stressed. They come to watering holes, and just like this little baby elephant on his own here, I hope he's close to his mother and stays close by, because we do get a lot of displaced individuals at these watering holes. There's lots of excitement, and babies can often get displaced and lost at the watering holes in the chaos of a pool party or herd of elephants drinking up. So there's a beautiful big bull on the left hand side here. There's a youngster next to him that's throwing a little bit of a tantrum. The young elephant bulls are always, yeah, they can be a little bit aggressive and cheeky, and sometimes need to be put in their place. I'm sure if you have been on safari, you would have encountered one of these young bulls that generally, if you just keep your vehicle switched off and just sit there, and when they charge you and realize that you're actually not afraid of them, they get the biggest fright of their life and normally turn around and run away with their tail tucked between their legs. Naughty youngsters. I guess all teenagers go through that rebel phase. Oh, look, there's 2 elephants that are checking out this big bull. Definitely one of the bigger elephants we've seen today here. Kukuyu. Now, there's no better place I'd rather be here on this lovely Friday afternoon than sitting watching this Africam camera at Ukukuyu in Namibia. So while we have this beautiful sight in front of us, why don't we have a silent moment to just recap and refresh on your week, let all the worries and troubles go, and just start winding down for the weekend. Take some nice deep breaths and just enjoy the sight that we have in front of us. So my fond memories of Ukukuyo here in Natasha was the day I came to visit. There weren't quite as many elephants as there are today, but I definitely remember there are a lot of ground squirrels in that area. I had quite a lot of humor for a few hours watching all the ground squirrels getting up to nonsense, digging about. If you've ever taken a drive in Natasha, I'm sure you would have come across a few little ground squirrels with rather fluffy tails. Oh my man, they are super cute. I had such a good time taking photos of them. All right, well, it looks like these elephants are not going anywhere in a hurry. Why don't we head back across to southern Africa to Founders Lodge and see what is waiting for us there? So we were here earlier at Founders Lodge and we had our giraffe that was being visited by the zebra. They hadn't quite all come to visit yet. Now they've all gone to walk. So no, the usual story with the live drives and sometimes the Afrikaans is the minute the animals hear that live laugh, they all disappear. Usual story. We'll be lined up. I've had many times at Juma, been ready, got the leopard right there, Kalambas in the tree, or an elephant sighting, or if you're super desperate, you have a chameleon, and the minute you hear that live, everything just disappears, and now you're just lying in the middle of the road where you did have a chameleon, and now there's nothing, or you're sitting pointing up into a tree that's now just a branch on its own because the animals hear live, and they just disappear. Luckily, few zebra decided to hang around. There looked like there was a nice big pregnant female. Could be this one trying to kick the male behind her. Coming for a lovely drink. The sky has really shaped up quite nicely at Founders in the Eastern Cape with the mantis lodges. Shame this poor male zebra wants to come for a drink, but is being threatened by this other zebra standing there. You can see the body language with zebras, just like horses, instantly changes. Those ears go back, and you know to watch out. There's going to be a kick or a bite coming your way. I'm sure if we have that kick of a zebra is rather nasty, I must say. Yeah. I have a friend who is a helicopter pilot and does game capture operations, and he got kicked by a zebra while relocating some zebra, and yeah, he got kicked through like the black canvas sheeting boma and still managed to shatter his leg in 7 different places. I would not want to be kicked by a zebra or bitten. Rather nasty. Yeah, so you can definitely see this is a female here. Her stomach is bulging quite a bit. I was a bit skeptical because generally females, the older they get, the more their back kind of has a bit of a hollow. Male zebras' backs are generally quite flat. Male zebras also have very thick necks and shoulders. Obviously, quite an easy indicator to see which is the male. And often, the zebra, if you're watching them in their small harems together, it's generally anything from 3 to 6 individuals. The male will always kind of be off to the side, maybe to stand guard and protect his harem. Can be quite aggressive zebras when fighting for their females. So if another male comes into his area and tries to steal his females, can be quite a nasty fight that breaks out. Oh yeah, this female on the right is rather pregnant, so it's very similar to a horse's gestation period. Anything from 360 to 365 days gestation period, where they give birth to a little foal weighing anything from about 1.5 to just over 2 kilograms. Baby zebra are very cute. I know some baby animals or creatures are not the most adorable things when they're born. Like humans and primates don't always have the most adorable babies. And kind of like, oh, where is all the hair? Whereas baby zebras are very cute, even from the beginning. I've seen a baby gorilla once, and I must say I was quite petrified. I thought it was some sort of fruit of some sort. And this gorilla was acting quite strange, and she was holding something in her arm. What on earth is that? And it was actually, yeah, hadn't been recorded yet, so I was the first guy to actually see this little baby gorilla, but it looked nothing bigger than a melon inside of her arm and had no fur whatsoever. So it seems like quite a windy day in the Eastern Cape. I must say, Eastern Cape does get rather cold. That wind, I don't know if anything can prepare you for those windy winter days, and often zebra. So I think our zebras are about to move off. So why don't we head back across to Tembe Elephant Park and see what's waiting for us there. Welcome back to Tembe, everyone, in Maputoland, South Africa. If you have been to Tembe, then you definitely know that this park is very well renowned for its tuskers. A lot of very big elephant bulls with impressive tusks, just like this individual kind of in the middle on the right hand side of that palm. We were just admiring the tusks of the elephants in Etosha in Namibia, and how possibly due to a mineral deficiency, they have very short, stubby tusks. And if you have a look at these elephants here in Tembe, completely different. Look at those long, spindly tusks of this elephant bull. Very, very impressive tusks. Even just at this waterhole already, you can see on the right hand side there's a lot of sodak areas here. So sodak areas are very important for a lot of wildlife, and this is where these elephants would get the minerals in order to have these long, beautiful tusks. Quite an interesting tusk formation, this one bull. You see on the left hand side kind of arcs and spindles up a little bit. The other one's kind of more direct and oh, I would not want to be hooked by that left-hand tusk. That could do some serious damage. So probably what has happened at some stage is I would guess his right-hand tusk is probably broken off. That's why it is a lot shorter. Elephants can break their tusks quite often while feeding, fighting, or possibly even just trying to move the trees around. They can easily break their tusks. Other bulls there, so it looks like 4 bulls altogether, but obviously other bulls' tusks are not quite as impressive. So Darcy Miller, here we go. We have some beautiful female Nyala on the left there. So Darcy Miller is asking, does Tembe Elephant Park mainly have elephants? So yes, Darcy Miller, Tembe Elephant Park is most well renowned for having elephant. Of course, not just any elephants, but very long tusked elephants. Yeah, I've been there myself, and I was rather impressed with the tuskers there. They're not extremely large bodied elephants, but very big elephants, yes, but of course they do have an array of other wildlife species: antelope, impala, nyala, kudu, bushbuck, buffalo, and as far as I'm concerned, they do have the big 5. And we have a grey heron over there, probably looking for a little bit of a snack. They'll feed in those riverbeds, move around, and search for any little fish or frogs. So yes, Tembe Elephant Park does have between 27 to 30 different mammal species. I did mention quite a few of them just now. Oh, the grey heron is hunting again. They do obviously also have leopard, lion, nyala, porcupine, red duiker, which is really cool that they have red duiker there. Must be because of their location and thick forested areas. They do have quite a very nice thick areas which would be perfect habitat for your duiker species. They do have wild dog. I didn't see wild dog while I was there. I think I saw lion, elephant. We saw leopard tracks, but we didn't actually see leopard. Lots of zebra and wildebeest. It's very common in Tembe Elephant Park. I love the palm trees there. It's filled with a lot of palm trees. Perfect habitat for a lot of bird species to nest in. You know, buffalo weavers love nesting in palm trees. Oh, so Angie, it's funny you say that. So Angie sent a comment through about how animals really do get along and share resources with each other. So generally, kind of the rule of thumb is as long as another species is not in competition with you for food or water, they're not necessarily a threat. But I mean, at Oldonyo this week, we've had the elephants chasing almost everything away from the watering hole. So sometimes you do get elephants can just be rather greedy sometimes and don't always share too well. But I mean, generally, you can have at some watering holes. I mean, I've got a picture at a watering hole, also from a hide, of about 5 or 6 different species all in the same photo. There was a hippo in the water, there was elephants drinking from the water, there was impala in the background, zebra, giraffe, and I think there was even a wildebeest there. They were all in the same area feeding. Again, when animals get restricted to certain areas because of food and water, then that can cause stress, and then that can also possibly cause them to fight as well. But yeah, generally animals live amongst each other in peace, unlike some of our predator species. So obviously, lions and wild dogs are not the biggest friends. So wild dog and cheetah are often at risk from being attacked by either lions or hyenas, as they are such small predators, very soft bones or very brittle bones, whereas they are hollow and very light. So they do have to watch out for the other bigger predators. It's all about circle of life and the food chain and knowing where your place is. A lovely view. These impala having a nice little afternoon munch. All right, well, these are nice to see these nyala here as well. But let's head over to Tau Game Reserve and see what's happening there. Whoa! Welcome to Tau Game Reserve, everybody. Got some nice zebra here with some wildebeest. And it seems like a lot of algae and a lot more mud since the last time I saw Tau. Obviously, with the dry season, a lot of water is being evaporated and kind of utilized by all the wild animals that are very thirsty. We also have another grey heron there, be hunting. yeah, as the dry season is upon us and all these watering holes start drying out, definitely exposes a lot of fish and creates an absolute frenzy amongst the birding ecosystems, along the birding waterfowl kind of parties. A lot of birds will come in and prey upon these fish that have a kind of smaller ecosystem to survive. So we're just going to have a quick pan to see if we can find a crocodile. There was a big crocodile that we watched here the other day trying to pull his way through the mud. So shame. The crocodiles are also at risk this time of year of having their ecosystem depleted of water. So they also, crocodiles need to be very wary at this time of the year. Crocodiles and hippos, that they don't stay in a pan for too long. That might completely dry up. They can obviously cross very large distances looking for a new habitat. Oh, there's our crocodile down there. We've got 2 Egyptian geese. You can see very sneakily hidden in this little bank is our crocodile. See, now, if you didn't know he was lying there, you could very easily have stepped right on him, and that would have not been a good way to end your day. We've also got some red teals. It's 1 Egyptian goose with some red teals as well. This crocodile is enjoying the sunshine while he can before the cold winter's night begins. So I know a lot of people that come to Africa don't actually believe that Africa is cold, but this time of the year, I must say, June, July can get rather freezing in some of these locations. It looks very hot at the moment, but as soon as that sun drops, the temperature then drops with it as well. So this crocodile is absorbing as much sunshine as he can. He will also take advantage, this crocodile, of the fish that are available in the water sources here as the water dries up. We were actually just talking about yesterday the die out of crocodiles in the Olifants Gorge in 2007 and 2008 due to kind of an algae bacteria within the fish that they were eating that was then kind of storing in their fat cells. Yeah, that's quite a terrible outbreak, but luckily they managed to contain the outbreak, and I don't think there's been any recorded cases recently. But yeah, because it did make people realize what a high percentage of fish crocodiles actually do consume within their daily life. So if they are not able to catch a big prey species, they will always be able to snack on fish. That kind of keeps their bodies going. So it's interesting that during winter, crocodiles don't actually need to feed as much as they would during the summer months because their bodies kind of slow down a lot. They don't always need to eat as much in winter as they would in summer. So there is 2 crocodiles here. Apparently should be another one on the grass somewhere. Let's see if we can spot him. Amazing how they camouflage themselves so well. You don't know. Is he out of the water? Is he in the water? Where could he be? Oh, we've got some warthogs up there as well. See, he could be in this mud with just a tiny portion of his nose sticking up out of the mud, and you wouldn't even know he was there. More, looks like some more teals. Two more teals, red-billed teals, also filtering through. Oh, there we go. Found our crocodile. A little bit more of an open spot for us to be able to see him. Full of mud. Enjoying the sunshine. He's got his eyes closed. So it's incredible how these crocodiles, isn't it amazing how they've remained relatively unchanged for over 2 million years. That's how well adapted and evolved they are to survive in their environment. This is making them one of the oldest reptile lineages on Earth today. See, a lot of crocodiles might have different color variants, same as how with humans, you have people with lighter skin, darker skin, same with crocodiles. They also have crocodiles that might be mostly dark in color, maybe more patchy. You do get albino crocodiles as well, which let's say not the most attractive looking creatures. So the average weight of a big crocodile, and this crocodile's a decent size, can get anything around 1,500 to 2,000 pounds, or about 900 kilograms. This crocodile could still get a little bit bigger in size. The biggest crocodiles I've seen, unfortunately, have been crocodiles that might have been shot in areas that might have been causing problems and eating livestock from villages. And then, unfortunately, they do have to get shot at times because they become a bit of a wildlife problem. And these crocodiles are massive crocodiles, measuring anywhere up to 20 feet or 6 meters in length. It's pretty incredible how powerful these creatures are. They also have one of the strongest biting forces in the animal kingdom, which exert a tremendous amount of pressure as they capture their prey in their mouth, wait in the water for very long periods of time, sometimes with just their nose sticking up, and then they launch themselves out of the water, grip onto their prey, and pull them into the water as quickly as. Apparently, their biting force is known to be several thousand pounds per square inch. Again, not something I would want to be bitten by. And as my dad would say, you can only hand feed a crocodile twice. So please beware. So, Spicy Incog, yes, thank you for joining us again on the show today. It's been great having you the last couple of days. And yes, it is very nice to see wildebeest and zebra. The zebra were very clean looking, I must say. They definitely stick out in the environment when everything around them is dry. And about the lungfish, unfortunately, I have never seen a lungfish. So lungfish is kind of semi-barbel looking, or looks kind of like a catfish. Do find them in very muddy, swampy areas. They do make kind of a bit of a, if you know, the earthworm kind of excretions that earthworm push up out of the soil. So that is an indicator that that area might have a lungfish. It's like the soil looks a bit disturbed and like there's been earthworms in the ground there. So I must, yeah, I have dug a few times for lungfish, but I think someone was pulling my leg and was like, I think there's a lungfish there, and they actually just wanted to enjoy watching me digging in the mud and getting stuck, which they then proceeded to not help me get out of the mud. So that was a bit of a failed mission. But yeah, it is quite difficult to see lungfish. They do move over muddy surfaces. So I think besides actually finding them in the mud, your best bet would be to actually see them moving from one place to the other. So again, answering another question about where we get leucistic or albino crocodiles. Again, unfortunately, where's an area? Actually, yeah, I have seen some in Zimbabwe at some of the dams. They're quite famous crocodiles because obviously they do stick out quite a lot. Zimbabwe, I know there's been some records. I know of a few in Zambia, very rarely a few in Botswana, but obviously it's quite a disadvantage to have that color. And as a young baby crocodile, if you survive past 8 months, especially being a different color like that, which just stands out. I mean, a fish could very easily see a little crocodile like that, or a predator or bird. So most of these albino crocodiles might not survive to adulthood, and if they do, they've been super lucky. But yeah, you would rarely find them, I would guess, all over southern Africa. But the most individuals I've seen, obviously, unfortunately, have been at crocodile farms. I've only really seen a few in the wild, so they are very not that common. They're quite rare to see these albino crocodiles. Yes, I definitely agree with you there that um, tail does have quite a chess looking pattern, Catherine. I know there's been a lot of craze recently over the um, what is it in the Pantanal crocodiles there getting eaten by the jaguars. The Pantanals very or alligators, sorry, getting eaten by the jaguars. Seems like they are specialized in hunting these creatures, which is quite fascinating because mostly I would say if a crocodile can get to this size, he has very few predators. While we're on the topic of jaguars, yeah, I thought we'd have a bit of a discussion today about leopards, jaguars, and kind of different panthers all over the world. So I don't know if anyone knows. Obviously, black leopard are very popular at the moment. That black leopard, what her name is, Giza in Kenya and Laikipia, which again is a lot of people are raving about. But I don't know if anyone knows that there's actually a pink leopard, or also known as a pink panther or strawberry leopard, which has been recorded in South Africa. I've actually been following, there's a research page on Instagram. Oh gosh, I can't remember. Some leopard research organization in South Africa that found this pink leopard or strawberry leopard in Madikwe Game Reserve in April 2012. A few photos were released, and I know last year they also managed to get a couple of photos of this pink leopard. Unfortunately, it's not getting as much publicity as the black leopard are. They're still very beautiful, I must say. They're light in color. Shame they must really struggle with the sunshine. Very bright and probably affects that light colored skin of theirs. But if you haven't seen a pink leopard, I definitely would recommend Googling pink panther or strawberry leopard. I find them very interesting. Most of the individuals I've seen are actually females, but I did see, yeah, today I was Googling and there are some pictures of one or two big males. Again, it's mostly a kind of the color variant is mostly caused by a genetic mutation or recessive gene. Again, very rare, but it does occur in these leopard species. And of course, leopard versus jaguar. I know there's a lot of hypothesis between, oh, is a leopard more closely related to a jaguar? So if you have a look at the pictures between the two, jaguar are a lot larger than a leopard in size. They weigh up to 30 kilograms more than a leopard. Also, obviously, the rosettes and spot patterns are a lot more different. Males are and females are a lot thicker in their neck, and leopards are actually more closely related to lions than they are to jaguars. But I must say that definitely jaguars catching the um, caimans or catching the crocodiles are definitely one that is on my list. I would love to see that. The alligators. Imagine watching a jaguar jumping onto an alligator in a river. A lot of people are really excited about having some sightings like that. Definitely make my day. And apparently there was a lion and leopard hybrid that was recorded in 1953. Not too many hybrids have been recorded since then. I know there is a liger, a hybrid again between a lion and a tiger, but also these species, there's a reason that they should not hybridize. Well, they would not survive too well in the wild. Let's put it at that. Oh, this crocodile, he's having the best time in the sunshine here. Absorbing as much heat as he can in the day. So it's interesting how sensitive crocodiles actually are to the water. So the skin of a crocodile has tiny pits called intergumentary sensory organs, which actually sense pressure changes in the water. And this allows crocodiles to be super sensitive and alert when it comes to any disturbances made in the water. So if a crocodile is in a pan and the other side of the pan something comes down to drink, no matter the size of the pan, whether it's 50 meters, 150 meters, a crocodile can very quickly pick up on any disturbances in the water. And that's what makes him such an efficient predator, is being able to pick up these vibrations through the pits in his skin. And these pits are generally located on the crocodile's snout. And that's where, kind of just like echolocation with bats, they receive any signals of any disturbance and movement in the water. So Ronald is asking a great question, as does being a hybrid affect things such as camouflage? Yes, 100%, Ronald. I would definitely agree with you on there. So for example, if you had the coot, looks like it could be a lesser moorhen. So they definitely affect their camouflage. I mean, imagine if you had a pink leopard walking in the scene here next to these wildebeest, instantly they're going to pick up that something is not quite blending in. So I do love how everything in the ecosystem has always evolved and adapted in order to blend into their environment. So when you get hybridized species that kind of change their color, just for example black leopard as well, sometimes in certain areas that'll make hunting for them very difficult. Same as like with a lot of antelope species like kudu are very well camouflaged in that if they stand still in a thicket, the stripes on their body make them blend in like little trees. Hardly see them. Again with lions and leopards, cheetah, when they're stalking their prey, if they crouch down and sneak up onto their prey, you hardly even recognize them at all. So I actually have quite an interesting story here of how a leopard got its spots. So I'm going to share this with you here. So the golden leopard was very vain. He loved his golden fur and cleaned himself constantly. But the golden panther was hungry. His fur shone in the dark, so he could never sneak up on a meal. One day he was tired and sneaked past a watering hole and managed to fall into a puddle. His foot slipped into the mud Oh, my paw is filthy, he moaned, but the more he tried to clean, the dirtier he got, till he was covered in splotches of mud. Finally, famished, he gave up. As he walked, the spots managed to blend him into his environment, and he managed to spot a young warthog. Absolutely famished, he decided to sneak up against the warthog until the warthog noticed him, but far too late. The leopard was then called the golden leopard. Instead of being hungry, his spots managed to blend him into his environment, and he was able to hunt again. This is quite an interesting story about how, without the leopard spots, they are golden in color and blend in too well to the environment. But with their spots, it helps to blend their body shape into the environment and camouflage them very well, so that they can sneak up to their prey. We've got a blacksmith plover here. Oh, and looks like a spurwing goose. You better watch out. If he gets too close to those crocodiles and one of them is hungry, he might snack this goose up. Again, we did say it's winter at the moment, so most reptiles like crocodiles will not necessarily be eating as much as they would in the summer months. So you don't always have to worry about feeding during these months, but again, crocodiles are opportunistic hunters, so if something was silly enough to jump on an island right next to the crocodile, I wouldn't be surprised if he snatched them up. Just having a scan to see what other bird life we can find. I think we had a moorhen. Was there a lesser moorhen? See all the mud that's exposed, all the tracks of the animals that have come down to drink. A lot of sodak areas in this area. Looks like, what do we have there? Another grey heron. Shucks. He was hunting earlier. See two red-billed teals, also on the right-hand side of the heron. Yeah, a francolin calling in the distance. I wonder what our heron is going to do. Do you think he's going to go for a hunt? Yep. Maybe little zebras coming by. Nothing seems to be bothering him on his face. The flies can be quite irritating at times. You see a lot of antelope swishing their tails a lot. Oh, and there we have a shelled duck. Nice. Right hand side there, shelled duck. South African shelled duck. So I believe it's the females that have this white coloration on their faces. Males have more of a grey head, it doesn't stand out as much. So they are generally resident, but yet they can be quite nomadic throughout their range, normally occurring in estuaries and rivers. And it's strange how they do occur in very arid areas. It's quite a hardy duck species then, because most ducks would prefer to be in quite lush green areas, but obviously these shell ducks are used to being in arid areas. Having a scan, let's see what else is out there. So we did get a question here through from Granny Mango, was asking if hybridization in birds is possible. I haven't seen it too often, and I know it is a very rare occurrence, although it does sometimes happen. It's been more reliably recorded in shoreline birds, as well as a few game bird species. For example, some of the fowls or spur fowls, guinea fowls. Very rarely in ducks, but yeah, generally it's not a very rare. It's quite a rare occurrence, hybridization in bird species. I have seen a picture of a hybrid macaw. Again, this was probably a domestic animal that somehow hybridized and escaped, confused a lot of people. What do we have there? More hens? Oh, coots. Looks like red. No, like a black crake, sorry. So there's a moorhen on the right hand side. And those on the left look like black crakes. So lesser moorhen on the right. And then black crakes on the left. Check out those crakes with the bright. I love crakes, I must say. Very cool. Red legs, completely black, yellow bill. Very cool birds. Black crakes giving themselves a bit of a preen. So they generally are solitary birds, male and female possibly. This one on the left looks like it could be a juvenile. See, its legs haven't quite changed color yet. Still not as red. The bill is not yellow yet. Waterfowl do excite me quite a lot because, yeah, it's always a good indicator of a healthy environment, and they've disappeared. Where have they gone to? So the crakes you hear them more often than you actually see them. So yeah, I'd definitely say I've heard crakes a lot more than you actually see them. They love very thick reeded areas. It looks like, is that a plover or sandpiper of some sort? Just gonna have a scan around this pan. See what else is there. What do we have here? Now our crocodile should be somewhere on the left. Little rubbing post. You can see that rock has been used by maybe some warthogs to give themselves a bit of a scrub-a-dub-dub after having a nice mud wallow. Yep, there's our crocodile. See the color difference between these two crocodiles. They're in the same area, but yet there's quite a large color difference between the two. Again, just because they're in the same watering hole or pan doesn't necessarily mean they are related. Like I said, during seasons of drought, crocodiles can move very long distances in order to get to another water source. So I was talking about the black crake's call and how they often call a lot more often than you see them. So I've actually got the call here, which I'm going to play for you. Don't know if you were able to hear that, but yeah, that is the call of the black crake. So if you are at a water source and you often hear these waterfowls calling from a thick bed of reeds, bulrushes, definitely would recommend sitting and getting comfortable with your binoculars and just waiting, because you'll generally find them popping out somewhere. So it looks like a teal, a red-billed teal having a nap. It's amazing how winter season definitely makes everything very lazy. Lazy lions at Mabula, was it? Yeah, lazy lions at Mabula yesterday. Really cold at Amakala today. You could see Eric was wearing his beanie and his warm winter jacket. A lot of other creatures that we've seen have been rather lazy and docile. This teal is fast asleep. Oh, seems like we got a bit more activity. So we have some impala that have come down, 2 young rams, female, a couple of zebra, too, also coming to have a bit of a drink, and our wildebeest, of course, the blue wildebeest. It's amazing the pictures of the wildebeest being eaten by or attacked by crocodiles during the Mara and the migration. Really awesome to see those, how agile and how efficient crocodiles are at hunting and killing. So, like this little impala, which could probably be female impala, would probably be a good snack for a crocodile if there was a bit more water. But as you can see, there's a lot of mud right now, so it'd be rather difficult for that crocodile to sneak up on this impala. Big impala ram coming down. The pregnant zebra in front there with her little one. Yep. Definitely very wary and cautious there, the Zimbabwe. Zebra. If I was coming to drink and I knew there were 2 giant crocodiles in this pan, I'd also be very nervous. You can see how when they drink, they try to not stand too close to the water and reach as far out as they can, so as not to put themselves in danger's way. Or you can be like this zebra and just walk straight in there. Maybe they know that the crocodiles are a little bit too lazy to be on a hunt. Right, well, while we wait and see what's going to happen with the zebra here, we apparently have a little monitor lizard at Jabulani. So why don't we shoot across to Jabulani Game Reserve and see what monitor lizard is up to. Oh, just like with our crocodiles, looks like our monitor lizard's also catching some sunshine on this tree in the water. Again, when you're on safari and driving past a little watering hole or a pan, just make sure you always check the logs at the edge of the water and as well as the small trees and branches that might be sticking out of the water. And yeah, you might catch yourself a water monitor. These little water monitors, when they're small, are actually pretty cool colors, black and yellow. And the older they get, the more the yellow kind of fades. So this individual, you can see he's got a bit of yellow still around his neck, around his shoulders there, but it's kind of slightly fading out in his tail. So I'd say he's probably a sub-adult, maybe a couple of years old already, going on 3 years old. That tail of theirs is rather quick and very, very painful as a weapon. So they use that tail to flick any predator that might come near them. I've been flicked once or twice by a monitor lizard by surprise, not knowing he was there or guarding a nest. Walked right past without knowing he was there, and yeah, got a nice flick on my leg from this monitor lizard. They can, again, be quite aggressive when they feel cornered or if they feel like they're being attacked. Sharp claws of theirs really help them with hoisting themselves up into trees. And of course, for raiding crocodile nests. That tongue coming out. But again, just similar to snakes, they'll use that tongue of theirs to kind of test the air and smell out for any prey that they might have a chance of hunting down. This is a perfect little spot for this little monitor lizard, because if he feels threatened at all he'll do is plop himself into the water. So this little monitor would be prey to possibly other bigger crocodiles. You must watch out. I've also seen African fish eagle somehow manage to get its talons on a little monitor lizard. You have to be careful. I think we've had on Juma a few times. Juma, I think it could have been, yeah, a leopard trying to kill a little monitor lizard as well. Of course, they are they're very thick skin, and they definitely are not something to be messed with. So yeah, that little. I think it was actually a young leopard that was trying to kill a monitor lizard, and he kept getting flicked in the nose and the eye by its tail, which didn't make him very happy. And of course, if they bite onto you, that's also quite a nasty bite. They don't have protruding teeth like a crocodile, more like razor sharp, kind of shorter teeth, more on their gum line. And they just kind of bite onto you and don't let go. If you didn't know he was there, very hard to actually see him. Sounds like a woodpecker of some sort. Could be a golden-tailed woodpecker or cardinal woodpecker making that noise in the background. Yeah. What else is happening around this pan today? I love these little mysterious pathways. While sitting at a hide or a platform, I always imagine what could be walking down a specific pathway and where a leopard might have scent marked and warthogs might have been wallowing before, or perfect little place for a leopard or lion to pop out of the bushes. What is out there? All right, it seems like we've got some visitors at Eldonio, so let's head over to Eldonio in Kenya and see what visitors we have at the pan there. Oh, we have some zebra back at the pan. Nice to see that this pan has been quite busy today. We've had some elephants. We had our secretary bird again. Zebra seemed to be quite a regular visitor to this pan, the zebra. And giraffe. Had some eland yesterday and today. Shame this pan is drying up quite quickly, I must say. Yep, got a little lizard somewhere in the rocks in the foreground here. Two individuals, could be a pregnant female on the right-hand side with her youngster on the left. But that youngster on the left is probably sub-adult now, probably going on 6-7 years old. She could maybe even have her own little foal in a year or two. Definitely time for mommy to have another baby. And have some eland in the background. Whoa, an oryx. Wow, check at that, folks. A bit nervous. Nice to see an oryx in Aldonio. I've seen oryx here before. Maybe an Aldonio lifer for me. Looks like some white-browed sparrow weavers calling to our left. Oryx, zebra, and eland all in the same shot. Isn't that amazing? I must say, oryx, a shame. This oryx does not look like it's in the best condition. You can see it's got a bit of a, yeah, some poverty lines showing there. He's on his own. I'm sure he's probably struggling to find food. So I only saw my first few oryx recently, and it was an amazing sighting. And every time I see oryx, I still get excited. You know, for a lot of people in Africa, even seeing a zebra first time is exciting, and my zebra is my favorite. I love seeing zebra too, but yeah, oryx are always very fascinating creatures to me. The oryx. Shame this female zebra is looking rather pregnant. Not too happy. Look at those ears. We've spent enough time with zebra and horses. You definitely pick up that a lot of their body language is very similar. And those ears, I tell you, are a big indicator. You have to watch those ears because if they're about to kick you, bite you, anything, You will definitely know in the face and the ears. They are like, oh, this is actually not a pregnant female, folks. I'm terribly sorry. He has proven me wrong. This is a male, for sure. He's in very good condition, so I don't know where he's eating, but it's rather round. So, Picasso, thank you very much for giving me a question to divert our attention away from this zebra's display in front of us on screen. He's asking about the muzzle of the zebra, if it is dry or moist. Well, obviously, like this zebra would have been just drinking from a pan. It does sometimes get a little bit wet when they are drinking. Zebra, just like horses, sometimes do have a bit of postnasal drip on their noses that does drip down, but actually, the softest part, just as with a horse, same as on a zebra, is actually that part underneath, just under their chin. Very, very soft. Few little hairs that will stick out, like a bit of a, yeah, like a few bristly hairs that might stick out, but otherwise it is very, very soft under their chin and just underneath their nose there, so between their lip and kind of in between their nose. Very, very soft. Mostly dry unless they've been drinking or if they maybe have some sort of post-nasal drip somewhere. That's pretty popular with the wattled starlings. I wonder if we're going to have any warthogs coming to visit us, or maybe our secretary bird will come back. Shucks, I'm rather surprised about that zebra. He definitely looked fat enough to be a pregnant female. Just shows that we're not always 100% correct. It's not always easy to judge with these animals, but there are little signs that we can look for. But he was definitely proving to us that he is not a female. I think he must have heard me. Oh, and we have some starlings. Are these the superb starlings? Starlings, the beautiful starlings, splendid starlings, is it? Look at those bougainville, some impala. You can see the pedal glands on the impala there on the backhand side of the legs. These are kind of like scent glands, and when they jump up in the sky, they kind of flick their legs in the air, and that's what will kind of release a scent in order for the other individuals to follow. I think these are the chestnut-bellied starlings. Correct. They're beautiful starlings, I must say. I have not actually seen them in person myself yet. Love to see them one day, but very beautiful starlings with their two-tone color of that chestnut breast. You stick out. A lot of the starlings are very similar in color, so it's quite difficult to get them confused from one another. Watch that chestnut-bellied starling even has a bit of a white stripe. Starling just left behind. I think he's a bit confused. I love their beautiful eyes and, of course, their feathers have this beautiful iridescence that reflects in the sunshine. Lovely acacia trees in the background there, and it has been a really lovely afternoon today. We've had some pretty amazing sightings. I love that we have had such epic pool parties with the elephants in Ukukuyu over in Etosha. We had a pool party yesterday, and today must have been at least 60 to 70 elephants in Ukukuyu having an amazing pool party. Lovely to watch then these chestnut-bellied starlings. Nice sable sightings, eland sightings as well. A lot of zebra today, wildebeest, of course. We had crocodiles, 3 crocodiles today, also lovely to see. So yeah, please join us on our sunset safari, everybody, this afternoon to see what's happening at all of our locations, or on our sunrise safari. It has been a lovely afternoon with you here live at the waterhole cameras, with Wild Earth, the African cameras. That's been amazing to see what has been out there. Thank you so much for joining us today. And yeah, I will see you next week on Live at the Waterhole. I hope you have the most amazing weekend. And please don't forget to take some time to just enjoy your weekend and relax. Have a lovely weekend, everybody. From me, Kerry Dupree, it's been great being with you. Have an amazing weekend.
Good afternoon, and welcome to another afternoon installment of On Safari. My name is Liam Burrow. I'm the naturalist in a slightly breezy safari tent this afternoon. Man behind the lens, as ever, Panda Glitz. Alrighty. And once again, we'd love to remind you that we do try and keep this On Safari program as interactive as possible. So please keep your questions, comments, thoughts, etc. on everything that we're talking about coming to us throughout the show. We are standing by waiting to hear from you. Yeah, this is quite a nice opportunity to kind of have a look at a couple of highlights over the last couple of drives that we've actually had in the area, as well as at a couple of our other locations. So, yeah, with no further ado, I think we're probably going to start having a bit of a look. Once again, apologies. The wind is making this a little tricky this afternoon, but bear with us. Cue that first clip. Superb. Yeah, so as I say, I think we're going to take a look now at one of the clips.